Welcome back to The Gloves Are Off. We're going to talk some CFL now as the season kicked off over the Canada Day weekend. So we're going to get started with the Esks and Riders. Now, I watched that game. I was pretty shocked because the Eskimos, no one really gave them a chance. Did you watch the game, Craig? Or?
Yeah, my voice is a little hoarse from cheering so loud for my Esks, but I think we're going to butt heads again because we got a rider over here.
Not so much, Brian? You're shaking your head.
No, I mean, I was surprised too. It's kind of funny. We were talking earlier, real quick, because I've been in the States for so long, we can such an NFL. But I am a Saskatchewan fan, and I got a lot of friends that I know are too. That pretty disappointing to see what the performance was on the field.
Well, and that kind of gets me to my next point here. The Eskimos, I know it's game one, and they won a game that maybe they shouldn't have won, but no one's really giving this team a chance. They, half their players hadn't played on the team before. Are they going to be as bad as people say they are, or are they going to surprise their critics?
Well, I think they are, because I think you're going to have one hell of a year by Ray this year. I think he had a real subpar year last year. I think he's such a professional. I think he knows he had a bad season, and he knows he's got a young group, and he's a leader, and he is going to have fun this year. I think he's going to put some numbers up that are going to light it up.
Yeah, you could see the confidence in Ray on the weekend. Last year, I think their major issue was they had a bunch of track star receivers. They could run fast, they were tall, but they couldn't catch that ball for Ray. So on Sunday, when he was throwing it up there, you could see Adarius catching that ball every time. And as long as they keep those hands going this year, I think they're going to go a long way because of the players they have this year.
And I think that the receiving core really isn't that bad. They have Bowman, Barnes, and Stamps, and they were all catching the ball pretty well. So maybe the Eskimos will have something going this year.
And it's great. I mean, it's such a team game, but you as a receiver know that you have to have that quarterback that has that confidence to throw it. And I just watched Ray as he walked around, and that confidence and the swagger he has in his walk, and he just knows that there's a different guy on the field. And I think receivers read off of that. I played football a long time ago, but I think receivers read off a quarterback that is just confident as hell, and they're going to catch the ball for him.
Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about the Riders now, and they're pretty banged up at receivers. They're missing some. They miss Fantouz now. He's going to the Bears, and Bag, and Coke now. So all they have really is Dressler, and.
Well, it's a time for people to step up, though. I mean, we talk about that in all sports. I mean, you lose a few players. That's part of the game. It's I know how it feels to lose some top players in my career as a coach. We can't cry about it. It's hard, but we got to ask the players to step up and give them a responsibility of stepping into that role and see how they achieve or what they achieve.
Yeah. What do you think as well? How does this speak of the depth of the Riders if they do well this season?
It's nice that they have the Cates to fall back on with their running game. If they can step that up, it'll work. But they've still have great receivers such as Getzlaff and Dressler, and I think that they will guide those young receivers, and they'll be good replacements. They've stepped up last game, but I think that they got a long way to go, but they'll get there.
Well, it'll be an interesting season for sure if this first game speaks of what we can expect for the rest of the year. All right, moving on. This is something I wanted to talk about as well. Thomas Vokoun signed a one-year contract for $1.5 million with the Washington Capitals. That's like $5 million less than he made last year, and we know he can play. So what do you guys think of that signing? I love it personally, but.
Well, I don't think Washington was too happy with the way things went. That has an effect on Holtby, which is kind of tough to watch because I think he's their up and coming goalie. I think they're going to put him probably one more year in the minors, but Vokoun 1.5, he's got to prove himself again. I mean, it's great. The game of all the big thing in sports is what have you done for me lately?
He's been playing on a terrible team lately, though. You can't really expect him to carry him all the way to the playoffs.
But you know what? You could say the same thing for New Jersey Devils, like Brodeur. For a long time when they weren't that game, he had to hold them in for years and years. Yes, they had some good players, but there were a lot of times where he won games single-handedly for years and years and years on just his performance alone. So Vokoun got paid a lot of money. I think he's showing some real character now, coming back, taking a $1.5 million contract in Washington is going to hopefully I'm going to pick them to win. By the way, I said it today. I think they're going to win the Stanley Cup next year.
You heard it on the Gloves Are Off. Brian Curran calling Washington.
Calling my shot to left field.
Yeah, wow, I didn't. Well, you know what? That's something that they've been missing in the playoffs is a goalie, and now Vokoun doesn't have that much playoff experience because he's been playing on.
And I'm a Boston fan, so I'm glad.
We
I
know.
love always Boston, but you know what? I think Washington's going to do it.
All right. And like, what does that say of players these days? Like, you don't really see players taking a huge cut like that to play on a cup contender. I like it personally, but.
Yeah, Brian was saying earlier, players getting more selfish these days, going for the most money that they can get. So I like to see some of the heart the guys show by taking those cuts to either stay with a team that they're loyal to or to find a team that they think they can find a groove with.
And I'll bet you any money there's a hell of a bonus package on that.
We'll keep our eyes open for that for sure.
Well, we won't know about it, but I bet you there's a big bonus clauses in there.
All right, well, we're going to go to break now, and then we're going to come back with Brian Curran's favorite game in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Who am I? Coming up.
Let's go with Mickey Mouse.